with heavy breath and crazy heartbeat, with the arm locked over my chin, as if in a trance. The third day I wander aimlessly, and when I get tired, I curl up and just stare at the walls, drawing endlessly beautiful mountains with my eyes and my ears. They yearn to hear the symphony again, but I resist, for I cannot bear so much deafening shining light. I wanna cry, and nothing else enters my soul. How dare you to create this masterpiece? What have you done with me? I'm stuck somewhere in between the reality and that audiovisual cathedral you created. The whole month I watch nothing but the film. I read nothing but the script. No movie in my life has affected me so much, and now, the same way Franz felt it. I swear I feel it, that I must act. I have to express it. Not a review, but gratitude, nourished by the tears of deep reverence. Looks like I wrote the letters to everyone who made this movie a masterpiece. Oh Franz, so kind, so humble, so simple, but so strong. Believe me, I learned so many things from you. Not from your words though, but from your silent smile. It is there I found your deepest strength and confidence. Man, I must confess, you've become a kind of masculine archetype that I would like to follow. You serve the highest moral ideas, and when everyone abandoned your God, when even your spiritual leaders was looking like dressed up clowns full of cowardice, when you felt so alone, when no one could tell you the answer, you kept a strong heart full of silent resistance. How many of your beloved neighbors knew that the simple man whom they hated for the radical disobedience, on the 100th anniversary of his birth, would be beatified, and later the masterpiece movie about you would show in the Vatican? How many of the neighbors could understand that not Jesus, but you were the only saint that they met in their lifetime? Sir, I don't think it meant something to you. You just knew that the Nazi train was going to hell, carrying innumerable people to perdition, and you didn't want to take any seat on that fury machine. As you said, a man worth anything has only one thing to consider, whether he is acting rightly or wrongly. Many could disagree, but I think if a man feels his deepest purpose, if one knows what he was born for, if someone really gets around to it, that man is finished, blessed, released.
Sign.
No matter
And you'll go free.
what the story about.
But I'm free.
The whole thing then is to go through all the tests and the hardest trials one will face, not from his enemies, not from his persecutors, not from the guards. They tortured your body, but because you brought some of them to face their darkness, their soullessness, their avoidance of responsibilities. How can they punish your soul? If you follow your conscience, they only harm themselves. The hardest test one will face not even from his temptest allies.
God doesn't care what you say, only what's in your heart. Say the oath and think what you like.
But from the beloved one, and their love will test your spirit, your faith, your strength. That was the real challenge. But you knew that all this in relation to eternity is less than a second. You knew that just one has a wife and children. One isn't free to offend his God and his highest morality. When one knows that there is only one right way for him, one needs to abandon everything. One needs to believe only in himself. But what was there, Franz, behind your faith? A simple feeling? With no basis? Out of nothing? Man, you had balls made of titanium. I wish I had the same. Jeez. And there is no reward at the end. You just made a leap of faith, right into the abyss. The beauty of your character is that I cannot really learn anything certain from your friends. That is your invisible lesson. All I can do, if it's time, is to make my own leap of faith. And there is truly no guarantees that later, as they hinted at the end of the movie, I'll return as a light through that unlocked door. Or I will recur as the waterfall and became part of boundless universe. You know, it is just poetic stuff. Romance. Franz. In fact, you went through real spiritual darkness. Until the end, you saw no light. Your real story has no beauty. But I saw no story beautiful than that. Looks like you felt better than Kierkegaard, that when the tyrant dies, his rule is over. When the martyr dies, his rule begins. Thank you for your light, dear Franz. You made me a different man. In extensive writings, Franz explained the reasons for his actions. For him to fight and kill people, so that the godless Nazi regime could conquer and enslave even more of the worst people, would mean becoming personally guilty. 54 years after his execution, the verdict of death on Jägerstätter was annulled by the District Court of Berlin. The annulment was equivalent to acquittal and represented a moral and legal justification of his actions. Hey, Fani. They didn't show it in the movie, but in the script, Franz's mother said that he was never this way before. He was a fun-loving man till he met you. He danced. Then he got so serious. You, with your religion. He used to laugh. And with my own investigation, I found that Franz was a somewhat wild young man.
You fought with the police.
Who had a reputation as a womanizer.
Who changed you?
So the real reason why I make this video is not Franz, not even Malick. It's you, Fani, in the face of Valerie. The way she glanced at him, at his halo. That look full of pure divine love. I know she were not acting, and it moved all my depths. No allegories can express what I experienced while looking at her look. You know, I am so happy that I am divorced, so maybe I'll be lucky enough to meet a girl with the same heart, full of innocent tenderness, with the same glance. And the highest love between us will find peace only in eternity. I guess Franz felt the same connection with you, Fani, as I feel with Valerie. Before he met you, he questioned his faith and stopped at attending church while working in the mining town of Eisenerz. It is there he had purchased the motorcycle with the money he earned. No one else in the area had a motorcycle. It is all you need to be a successful womanizer. But then, he deepened his belief in God. Why? Because of the experience of happiness with you, Fani, remained with him as a lasting sign of God's presence. I could have never imagined that being married could be so wonderful. Franz once said, "You prayed together, helped one another to go forward in faith, and the Bible became your book of reference for everyday life." I believe that your souls were intertwined so tightly, even your names have the same root. And through his journey, you went together, and to my mind, you are as much a hero as your husband. Fani, you bent your back like beast of burden without friends, suffering from moral exile from the village, facing petty, obstinate, unaccountable bureaucracy full of documents and procedures, a labyrinth, a soulless world. And yet, not even passages like "Think of me and our children" are found in your letters. Only "One does God's will even when not understanding it," or "Love will keep us close when we walk where we cannot see. Feel it with me." Though you wanted him to change his mind, you believed in him not till his, but till your very end. Thank you for your love, Fani. I never saw love stronger. I'll keep it in my heart. Francesca died surrounded by her family in her apartments in St. Redigan on the March 16th, 213, at the age of 100. I just finished the editing of Fani's part in this video, and I don't know what is happening with me right now. Like, how is it possible, really, that something can affect you so much? It's so... Gentlemen, although all your characters are just episodic, supporting, and all that you have is just a handful of strokes to say, I'm just amazed by the significance of your contribution to the movie's masterpiece. I'm moved by the kindness and awareness of Franz Rogowski,
Hello, son.
of his monologue on the simplicity of life.
We would pray and work, and sometimes not. Sometimes we stay at home and we make music.
I'm stunned by the body movements and expression of Karl Markovic roaring, "Flame! Teach us! Light us! Show us the road!" I forgot myself totally when I was looking at Johannes Krisch's Soul Cry. And the judge, played by Bruno Ganz. The whole depth of this scene hit me when I discovered that the real judge committed suicide a bit later after the judgment. So, without you, dear gentlemen, I would never ever in my life call this movie a masterpiece. My applause to your talents. When I watched the movie reviews, I felt sad. The movie is exceptionally special. The editing took 2.5 years. The level of depth and beauty is just nuts. You gave me the creeps. And every 5 minutes you added another layer of goose skin on it. You guys are genius! You turned my soul inside out. Can you understand that? And yet all I could find on YouTube about this masterpiece is content that leaves me empty and disappointed. That's madness!
They ask you to watch the superficial video reviews without the same depth. I know. It's a life without honor. Is this the death of creativity?
In this case, I'm going to talk about the film in a far more free-form manner.
Typical dreamlike, more experimental approach to filmmaking.
It's actually based on a true story, as it said in the trailer.
Yeah, like loyalty versus...
You created a symphony, and only through my own symphony I can tell people about yours. Not less than that. You deserve it. And any articles full of structured text will fall in an attempt to convey the beauty you create. Because it is not your script, it is not the storyline that makes this movie a masterpiece. It is that silent companion that gives no answers, the absence of any accuracy or certainty, the flow where one does need to grasp for anything, where one just needs to observe and contemplate. This movie is a deep and crystal clear mysterious river with so many channels. And the more you drink from it, the more thirsty you feel. That is what I want to express about this movie. That is my natural response. I am even conscious of what is it. I cannot explain. Why do I feel so lost because of you? So tell me, Malik, how can one say the sun is our Gaffa and use it as a very much part of the decision-making process? You simply use the right time of the day to shoot the scenes until you last of the light? How can one love and respect the laws of nature so much? This movie is the reflection of naturalness, where the camera is searching not for the great performance, but for the moments of vulnerability, for the moments when the actors' souls are naked, when they immersed into the black hole, where they place the hearts of their characters into their chests. You are waiting for the birds that flies out no matter where, for the real birds, for the moment that you cannot plan, and all those moments intertwine into one very metaphorical piece. And the sounds, the music blended with the tune of human voice, mixed up with the sounds of nature, mingled with the sound of things created by man. One can embrace the whole beauty of this symphony only by perceiving each element as an absolutely equal part, like equally potent vibrations. And the transitions between the scenes make you feel awe only because you start to hear the sound of the frame before you can watch it. How subtle and graceful this movie dances with your soul. My deep bow to all your efforts. As an artist, I learned so much from you. After watching this movie about 5 times, I have a theory. So like art, poetry, and beauty, I see this world through a Machiavellian prism, where everything based only on self-interest and scheming. I'm a writer myself, and I'm telling you, every damn word has a purpose in a hidden life. Do not split the characters on 2 different sides. They are all in the same boat. All their lines combined together by the same man to express the same idea. Could be that they are all, through very indirect ways, bombarding Christianity.
If we could only see the beginning of his kingdom.
Poke at the weak points.
How can I show what I haven't lived?
Mock its barely alive body.
We had 20 centuries of failure. We need a successful saint.
It is Malik speaking through them.
Someday I'll paint a true Christ.
It was he who added these lines to the script, but didn't use them in the movie. The trouble with the Christians is that no one wants to kill them anymore. There was a time when you would be afraid to say you followed him, because it meant so much. Now, it means nothing. The church is a whorehouse. The whole idea of it, loathsome, low, as if men got down in the mud to worship. They never get down on their real knees. Was he trying to transcend Christianity by creating his own sort of Jesus, suffering to the tune of the violin, composed by his Californian friend? Was he trying to update spirituality, to make people's faith strong again? Was he trying to rekindle the fire in an extinct volcano of spirituality? You know, I don't believe in Jesus. I don't care about Christianity. But for me, Franz is a hero, and now I associate myself with him. He lived just 7 decades ago, and the movie is fresh, and the daughters, they're still alive. Maybe that was the plan, huh? To create a new foundation, to update things, to add relevance, to create the successful saint. I don't know. One can only guess. Thank you for watching. Have a nice and wise life. Hope to see you next time.